On this Ash Wednesday, we are reminded that fasting and abstinence, prayer and almsgiving are the least we can give for the greatest gift given to us for our salvation. When you fast, you understand it in our Catholic faith that fasting and abstinence is required for ages 18 to 60 years old and abstinence from age 14 years old. I understand that those who are sick and working in very hard work like construction may be exempted for this. Lent is a time for a conversion of the heart because prayer, fasting, and almsgiving express conversion in relation to oneself, to God, and to others. These practices fit well in season of Lent. They are practices of penance, not necessarily for past sins, but for present blindness. Prayer, fasting, and almsgiving open our eyes and ears, hearts and minds to others and to God. We practice fast. We fast on good things we need for our sustenance. We hope that as we learn to control and even say no for the purpose of discipline of Lent, we can also say no to the bad things of our life in hindering us to follow the Lord. This pandemic has given us so many denials. Movement to places we would like to go, gathering by meeting people we would like to see, and others. Others were literally denied this pandemic because at the beginning, those who got COVID-19 were stigmatized. Even those who care for them were not treated well. The government has to remind people not to harm those who are working in the hospital. They think they were spreading virus. Many of our nurses and doctors won't even go home because of fear that they may infect their family members. Those daily earners suffered from no work, no pay. These past years, we have denied many things for ourselves. Some are literally denied of the things they need. Do we do this fasting and abstinence only for ourselves? If this is for ourselves only, we're doing it the wrong way. We fast so that others who are really in need may be helped. The fasting and abstinence are means to an end to help those who are really in need and who are hungry. We ask God to open our heart to be generous to those who are in real need. We don't mind what other people will say to us. For many of those who really helped were even misunderstood. I remember here the beginning of the community pantry in the Philippines, but we saw that many were helped, especially those who were hungry. Prayer is our opening of our hearts, minds to God. It is the loving conversation with God. It is that which we long, like the air we breathe. We ask ourselves, where is God in all these events of my life? Isn't it that when we come to Him in prayer, we experience so many disturbances, anxieties, and a lot of distractions, that after praying, we ask ourselves, have I really prayed or just talking to myself like a monologue? So we add all the prayers we do from Rosary, Stations of the Cross, and even in Mass. They are good, but we need to ask ourselves, where is God asking me to do His will in the here and now? I have these 40 days, or we call it Quaresma, to find this answer. Or can I continue making this as a way of life, that I keep searching for His will for me in prayer? The season in many ways is a personal spiritual journey. The process of examining one's life and one's relationship with God offers rewards equal to what one puts into it. Yet Lenten sacrifices are more than simple attempts at self-improvement. The spirit of examination allows me to become a better member of my community. It gives me the space to ask, how do I use the absence of these comforts in order to feel the presence of God? Do I work toward a better understanding of how to live out God's will for me? How do I make prayer work for me? It's something I've wondered for a long time, but perhaps I haven't yet found an answer, because it's a question that's best answered by another question, one that goes beyond the 40 days of the season. How do you let God work through me in prayer? It is a good reminder in Mass when the priest says, "The Mass is ended, go in peace." This command to go doesn't mean that I leave behind the experience of God in prayer, in the building of the church. I am asked to build the church wherever I go. The task is given to us in order to find God from those whom He identified Himself. In the evening of life, we will be asked by Jesus, "When I was hungry, when I was thirsty, when I was sick, when I was in prison, when I was naked, and even in attending to the dead, were you there to help?" It is once said in prayer, we have love of God. In charity, we have love of neighbor. In almsgiving, mercy is given to those who are truly in need. If we don't feel the need of those who are in difficult situations around us, something must be wrong with us. What do we do when someone asks for our help? We always experience this as priests and religious. Some are truly telling what they need, but we also discover others are taking advantage of the generosity of the priest and religious. I have to be honest that it is only in time that we will discover those who are really genuinely in need. Sometimes I have a tendency to doubt those who come to me who are really in need. But one time, a lay Dominican reminded me after reading that book of the Dialogue of St. Catherine of Siena. She said, St. Catherine of Siena advised that our task is to help. But if people ask for help and thus deceiving us for helping them, it is their responsibility before God for their actions. So better help than driving away a person who is in real need. We may drive away Jesus who is in disguise. As Mother Teresa will say, Jesus who is in disguise among the poorest of the poor. Jesus identified Himself with the poor. It is time for us to evaluate. Do we make ourselves available to the poor, even in the most difficult situation? I read this in Carrie Weber in her book, Mercy in the City, How to Feed the Hungry, Give Drink to the Thirsty, Visit the Imprisoned, and Keep Your Day Job, quoting St. Peter's Chrysologus. There are three things, my brethren, by which faith stands firm. Devotion remains constant, and virtue endures. They are prayer, fasting, and mercy. Prayer knocks at the door. Fasting obtains. Mercy receives. Prayer, mercy, and fasting, these three are one. And they give life to each other. When you fast, see the fasting of others. If you want God to know that you are hungry, know that another is hungry. If you hope for mercy, show mercy. If you look for kindness, show kindness. If you want to receive, give. If you ask for yourself what you deny to others, your asking is a mockery. Let this be the pattern for all men and women when they practice mercy. Show mercy to others in the same way, with the same generosity, with the same promptness as you want others to show mercy to you. Fasting bears no fruit unless it is watered by mercy. Fasting dries up when mercy dries up. Mercy is to fasting as rain is to earth. However much you may cultivate your heart, clear the soil of your nature, root out vices, sow virtues. It is time now to start the disciplines that these ashes commence our Lenten practices.